Namo Tassam Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassam Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassam Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. So today's lessons based on one question of one devotee. She asked about practice meditation, and because her mind's wandering a lot when she practices meditation, so someone suggests her to practice on the collecting of Buddha quality. So she just call one name of the Buddha quality and repeatedly like that, and so that can keep her mind focused, not to go here and there. So she asked us that is it the way it is or not? Is it good for practice vipassana inside meditation or not? So he answered that this is not the way for vipassana meditation. So instead of calling the name of the Buddha, you can call your own action. Note your action, like you sweeping, so you know that it is sweeping, cleaning, or walking, like that. But if you practice on recollecting the Buddha quality, it should go beyond than just calling his name. It should be like understand why he have that kind of quality, and that can inspire your practice. You increase your confidence in the Buddha teaching, and then it helps you more in your practice. So this is just not called his name. So that's why I have today topic, why respecting the Buddha. So because these days we go to the temple, we have the Buddha statue, and we show our respect. But somebody we ask that, is it just the statue made by cement, made by copper, made by wood? So why you have to pay respect to such a statue? We don't pay respect to such a statue. We pay respect to the statue representing. So it is Buddha. So why we should do that? So I bring you one story in the time of the Buddha. It recorded in the Anguttara Nikaya, the numerical discourse collection. So there is a time, there a king called Pasenadi Kosala. He came to visit to the Buddha. So before we start, you should know a little bit about him. He's, in the time of the Buddha, there's several kingdoms. And there are two big kingdoms, biggest one. So one is Kosala kingdom of Pasenadi, and the other one is Magadha of King Bimbisara. So you know that he's one of the biggest kingdom in the area of the Buddha and during that time. So one time after he has returned from the war, victorious in the battle, he go directly to the temple, to the park, to meet the Buddha. So when he come to the temple area, there's a lot of bhikkhus, monks, who walking back and forth, like we do practice walking meditation in the open air. And he approached them and asked them, where's the plus one? Where's the perfect enlightened one? The Buddha Juling. I wish to see him. So the monk show him that, okay, he's still dueling over there with the closed door, so you should approach quietly without hurrying, enter the porch, clear your throat, and tap on the boat, so the blessed one will open the door for you. So he listened to them, entered the approach quietly without hurrying, enter the porch, clear his throat, and tap the boat, and the Buddha opened the door for him. And after after the Buddha opened the door for him, he entered the dwelling show his respect by kneel down and with his head at the blessed one feet. He covered his feet with kisses and cares, with his hand pronouncing his name that Bante, I'm King Pasenadi Kosala, Bante, I'm King Pasenadi Kosala. So why I have to tell you the whole story like that? Because you know that he's one of the biggest king at that time. But he come to the temple directly after he finished his job in the war. And he come to the temple and he asked the monk, really humble, to ask the monk where the Buddha is. And he listened to the monk direction, guidance that he approached quietly and clear his throat and touch the bowl to call the Buddha. And after the Buddha opened the door, he get in and kneel down and show his really respect like that. You should know the whole story like that, and you understand that he want to meet the Buddha and with all of his respect. So why he do that? The Buddha also asked, why you show such a supreme honor to this body and display the offering of loving kindness. Loving kindness here means the action and the word connected with loving kindness like that. You know, a really big king and show deep respect to the Buddha like that. So he answered, one day, out of my gratitude and thankfulness that I show my supreme honor to the blessed one and display an offering of loving kindness to him. So before, he used to be a really overweight person. I think in the previous lesson, there one time I told you that he ate a lot, and his body become overweight, and he moving for him is not so easy. So the Buddha gave him one stanza, one verse that remind him to eat, to control his eating. And because of that, he can eat lesser and lesser until his body is strong and weak and strong enough. So that's when he get victorious from the world. He want to pay gratitude and thankfulness to the Buddha. That's why he come to the Buddha and show his respect like that. And he also mentioned to the Buddha, there are 10 reasons that I want to show my deep respect to the Buddha. So the first reason, the blessed one is the one who practiced for the welfare of many people, for the happiness of many people. He established many people in the noble method. Noble method refers to the path along with insight meditation. So that is the way of good Dhamma, the way of wholesome Dhamma. This is the first reason I show my supreme honor toward the blessed one and offer of loving kindness to him. So he pay respect to the Buddha deeply because the Buddha is the person, the altruistic person, the person who live for other, who bring happiness and welfare of the other person, of the people, and not only the human being but also the celestial being. So I have one picture here. Describe the story. One time after the Buddha went to the heaven, Tavatimsa heaven to give the Dhamma talk to the Deva, including his mother in the past in the afterlife, and then he came back to the earth. So the Deva celestial being follow him to the earth, and the devotee and the monks welcome him. So he bring a lot of benefits for many people. That's why they do that. They respect him in such a way. So that is the first reason the King Pasenadi Kosala show his respectful to the Buddha. The second one, the blessed one, is the virtuous one of mature behavior, because he cultivates his behavior, his morality for a really long time, and he has the noble behavior and with the moralities surpassing all of the beings. Nobody can compare with the Buddha on the morality. He has the wholesome behavior. It means that he's flawless. He cannot find the fault in the Buddha morality. And that is the second reason the king pay respect to the Buddha, because he's perfect in morality. So I have one picture here. There's a story that there's a lady called Jincha Manavika. She came to the temple and she claimed that the Buddha make her pregnant, and he didn't say anything. He just kept silent. He said that only you and I know what is true, and because of that, the king of the heaven, Sakka, he asked somebody to come and show the truth that she's lying in front of everybody. So he doesn't need to say I right or you wrong or something like that. The truth come out immediately. No one can compare with the Buddha in the morality. This is the second reason the king Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to him. The third reason King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to the Buddha, because he has been a forest dweller for a long time. He the one who resorts to remote lodging in the forest and in the jungle grove. He's the special person. If you look at the history life of the Buddha, he was born in the grove. Lumbini Park is a grove. He's become a Buddha also in the grove, the forest. And even he final Nibbana, demise Nibbana, also in the grove, the forest, not in any building. So that is special. And he stay in the dwelling, in the house, in the temple, but his my own way consider like he live in a grove. This is the picture that show one time there a quarrel in the Sangha community. So the Buddha went to the forest and live alone in the forest. So that the elephant is his attendant at that time. So that is the third reason King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to him, because he is a forest dweller. He like to stay remotely. No need to anybody surrounded him. The fourth reason, the King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to the Buddha, because he is content with any kind of offering, like robe, like alms food, like lodging, like medicine providing for the sick. He doesn't ask for more. He just accept whatever offered to him. So this picture shows that there one time in Veranchaya, there's a famine, famine, and the people, they don't have enough food to eat. So they have only kind of red rice, and it's really hard to chew. And they often use that for the horse only, not for human. And they just have that, but they offer to the Buddha and the monks, and he so happy to receive it without any complaint about it. So that is the second reason King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to him, because of his contentment. The fifth reason why King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to him, because he's the person who worthy of gifts, who worthy of hospitality, worthy of offering, worthy of very reverential salutation in pay respect. Yes, salutation. And he's the unsurpassed field of merit, punya, for the world. People come to him, pay respect to him. He's worthy to receive respectful. He's worthy of offering, and the people is his field of merit for the people to grow their punya, their merit. This is the picture. He's not only worthy of offering, worthy of respect by the human being, but also by the celestial being, the Deva, and also the Brahma. The picture shows that there are one time Brahma Sahambati from the highest heaven. He came down to request the Buddha to give his teaching, to share his teaching to all of the world, to help so many people. That is the fifth reason he's a worthy person for the world. Sixth reason, he's the person who talked concerning the austere life, which would help to open up the wisdom, the mind. The talk on the fullness of desire, the talk on contentment, on solitude, on dissociation, on arousing energy, on virtuous behavior, morality, on concentration, on wisdom, on liberation, and on knowledge and vision of liberation. He talked about these 10 kind of topic, which help person to practice more, to have less desire, to have less defilement, to improve in their meditation, wisdom, concentration, something like that. It's totally different from most of us who always use talk unworthy talk, like or one time I told you that unworthy talk translate in Pali word is animal talk. So we talk about the news, the king, the war, the village, the town, the vehicle, many kind of things about food. Yes, but the Buddha always talks something worthy to talk. Increase in the meditation, in the practice, in have less desire only. So that's why he's received the respect from the King Pasenadi Kusala. So the picture show there are one time there are 1,250 monks surrounded him in the forest and to receive his teaching. He easily to give the teaching out because his own experience. He doesn't need anyone doesn't need any book to research, because all of his experience is about have less desire, has the defilement, and he just share that to everybody easily. So that is the sixth reason King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to him because of his worthy talk. The seventh reason that King Pasenadi Kosala pay deep respect to him because he without trouble, without difficulty, wherever he want, he can enter the 4 jhana absorption, the higher state of mind, and stay there in this very life. Whenever he want, he just enter the jhana absorption easily. Not like us, we just try to practice, but just nearby the jhana meditation is not easy for us too. But for him, he can enter and go out, enter and go out really easily. So this picture show that how fast, how strong he is in the meditation. One time he used the psychic power, we call the twin miracle. So in his body, when you see from outside, it's like the water and the fire, like immediately go out to his body, or the red and the blue color together go out his body. It's really difficult to make this twin miracle. Only the Buddha can do that. It's not like together at the same time, the fire and the water, but he have to enter the jhana absorption with the fire object, enter that, then go out and enter the water object, then go out and in like that. and he do really fast. That's why we can see from outside that he show his the water and the fire appear at the same time. You know what I mean? Like enter and go out, enter and go out, really fast, and no one can do that except the Buddha. So this picture show that how fast he is in jhana absorption. So that's the seventh reason that King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to him. So the eighth reason the King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to him, because he can recollect his past life, from one birth to 100 to 100,000 birth, many eon of world dissolution, of world evolution. He can remember exactly what his name in that life, how he looked like, which food he eat, how he experienced the pleasure and the pain, how long he lived in that life, and passed away from there. He was born again in another place, and how he looked like, what his name is, what his clan is. Remember all of them. He can recollect all of them without any difficulty. So this and he get that in the night he become a Buddha. We call the knowledge of recollection of past life. He can remember easily and exactly what happened for all his life. He get it in the night he become a Buddha. So that is the eighth reason the King Pasenadi Kosala pay deep respect to the Buddha. The ninth reason King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to him, because with his divine eye, the Buddha with his divine eye, he can see the passing away and the rebirth of all of the beings. The beings being reborn, become inferior or superior, become beautiful or become ugly, become fortunate or unfortunate. He understands why they become like that, because of their action according to their karma. So they yield the consequence for them. So because the being engaged in the misconduct of the body, of the speech, and the mind, who have wrong view, who undertook the karma based on wrong views, so that's the reason why after the breakup of the body, after that, they was born in the planet of misery, in the bad destination, in the hell. And on the other hand, the people who do good conduct in the body, speech, and mind, and have right view, undertook the karma in the right view, they was born in a good destination, like in the celestial world, or come back to the human world. He can see through many lives of any beings because of their karma, what action they did, and they have to receive the consequence right now. So without any difficulties, that's we call the knowledge of the passing away and the reappearance of beings. So he get it on during the night he become the Buddha. So the picture here, I like to show you some of the rebirth area of the beings, like in the celestial world, in the human world, the hungry ghost, hell, animal, and titans, and like half of celestial world and half of beta. So that is the ninth reason the knowledge of the Buddha can recollect the passing away and reappearance of the beings. The ninth reason King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to him. The last one, the King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to him because with the destruction of the chain of the defilement, the Buddha realized himself with direct knowledge in this very life, attain the tenless state, liberation of the mind, liberation of the wisdom, and without he free from all defilements. He free from all defilements, and he gained this kind of knowledge of destruction of the chain at the first watch of last watch of the night when he became a Buddha. So that is the last reason, the 10th reason that the King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to him. In the Dikha Nikaya, the collection of long discourse, there are an example for you to understand easy about this one. Just like a pond in the mountain, on the mountain, it's really clear and like as a polished mirror. And a man with a good eyesight can stand on the bank and see through the pond, the clear pond. He can see what happened inside there, about the fish, about the oyster, about even a small rock inside the pond. He can see easily. So it refers to the Buddha, the person who clear on the defilement, so he can see everything with his eye clearly, really clearly. So this is called insight. So that is the 10th reason King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to the Buddha. So the first one, he's the person who live for other person, who bring happiness and welfare for other person, even celestial being or human being. He's the perfect in morality. No one can compare with him. He's the one who loves to stay in the forest, and he doesn't mind to stay alone in the forest. But not for us, sometimes. Fourth one, he's content. He doesn't ask for more. He just accept whatever he has, even it's good or bad. The next one, he's worthy to receive respect for other person. Who he's unsurpassed feel of merit for others. He's talk the worthy talk. He gives the Dhamma talk easily to help you to have less desire, have less defilement easily, because it's come from his own experience. Next one, he can attend the jhana easily, go in and go out easily without any difficulty. He can recollect all of his past life in detail. He can know the karma, the action of the beings and their consequence easily. And last one, he destroy all of the taints, all of the defilement, and he become the Buddha. So this is the 10 reason why King Pasenadi Kosala show deep respect to the Buddha, the supreme honor to the Buddha. So when we pay respect to the Buddha, when we practice recollection of his quality, I think we should choose any of these to know that why we have to respect the Buddha, because he's the perfect one. In which situation? For example, like we are not content much. Sometimes we ask for more. Someone we don't like this, or sometimes we don't like that. But the Buddha is not like that. He's better than us. He's the one who stay in the forest easily, but not for us. Sometimes we afraid to be alone. Or he's perfect in morality, but for us we not perfect yet. When we see about this thing, we see the perfect of the Buddha, and we compare to us, we know that he's better than us, and inspire us to try more to be like him. So that is the purpose of pay respect to the Buddha. It's not like we pay respect because we ask the Buddha to favor us something. Yeah. And it's not like recollecting the Buddha's qualities. It's not like just calling out his name. It's useless. So I have today topic, respecting the Buddha. We should consider these 10 reasons King Pasenadi Kosala pay respect to him. So thank you for your listening.
Okay, discussion time. Okay, the reason today we have this topic is come from one of our devotees. She practiced meditation, and she often call me and ask for advice, guidance, and any confusion that she has in her mind or doubt. And she asked me at one point that, her daily life, sometimes she has a very agitated mind, has wandering mind. She thinks a lot, and sometimes the thing that she did in the past haunt her, make her worry a lot. So she doesn't know what to do. So she because her mind is always agitated, with that wandering thought. And she thought that maybe she should reflect the quality of the Buddha and she can have more focus. So she chose to do chanting, the 9 qualities of the Buddha, starting with Iti Piso, Bhagava, Arahang, Samma Sambuddho, thing like that. So she did the chanting. And she's saying that sometimes she does that. She felt better. She felt to be more focused on her meditation object. So she doubted a little bit, and she asked me if that's the correct practice. And so I guide her. I say that when she practiced the reflecting the quality of the Buddha, is the right practice, but not in the situation that she want to practice vipassana, because if you practice reflecting, we call the Buddha Nusati, we call the reflecting the qualities of the Buddha, that's belong to the samatha meditation. And if you choose to practice Buddha Nusati, or contemplating on the Buddha qualities, then you should know how to do it correctly to get the result. Not just only calling out the name of the qualities, only the name, not the true nature of the quality. And if you choose to practice that way, you can also gain concentration and enter jhana. But to get it to be a fact, you need to understand, truly the quality of the Buddha. What does it mean? What is it? Like, let's say that one of the 9 quality of the Buddha is called the Arahant. Arahant is the worthy one, the one that who remove all the taint, like greed, anger, delusion, completely uprooted. Then you need to know exactly and what it is and all that, in order to have this inspiration in you, gladness, joy, rise it in your mind, and then you focus on that, and then eventually you develop the mind concentration and then enter to jhana. Then some people use this kind of concentration, they reflect it on the 3 quality, the 3 characteristic of the true nature, impermanent, we call anicca, dukkha, and anatta, in order to be enlightened, in order to be free from the defilements. So that is the path that you choose. But if you practice vipassana and then you reflect the quality of the Buddha by chanting, or just recite Arahant, 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 you are only calling out the name. But if you calling out the name, just only the name, and focus, calling, you also do get some level of concentration. You might also calm. But that again, you mix the two, and sometimes it didn't bring much benefit or confuse the true practice of vipassana. So what I guide her to do is, if her mind is so agitated, she has so much running thoughts, then she can remain practice vipassana by focus on her. Let's say that you can do walking meditation, because if you sit, just still, you can easily have running thoughts. So you need to do some more movement. So do walking meditation. When you do walking meditation, your focus is on your feet, left, right, up, pushing, down. Focus on that because there's more moving. But then again, that doesn't help your agitated mind or running thought. Then you should focus on doing other things, right? By doing like focus on if you're washing the dishes, then you focus on every act, like rinsing the dish, put it on the rack, every moment. And if that still doesn't help, you can calling it out, calling out like, rinsing, rinsing the dish, calling out before you just contemplating in your head. You just know rinsing, right? But it doesn't help. Talk it out, mumble out, right? Like rinsing, putting on the rack. Washing, rinsing with water, putting on the rack. You do it out with the mouth out until your mind is settled a little bit more. Then you don't have to, recite it out, label out loud. Just keep doing that. Or you go out, you do gardening, you do weeding, you pull out the weed, contemplating on the act, and then you drop it on the bucket, you're talking the bucket. But if the agitated mind is still going, still strong, then talk it out, pulling out, drop it in the bucket. Keep busy. So if you're contemplating like that, it's the same thing that you're calling out the name of like Arahant, just only the name the same way. So if you keep doing that, it helps you to, lessen your agitation or lessen your wandering mind. And if you do that, then you are still within the Vipassana practice, not mixing with the samatha called Buddhanusati. So I want to show her to focus only Vipassana, right there. And also, that's another way to get your mind off of thinking. But if it, let's say that at the level that your mind you have a very, like upsetting mind for the moment, then you can focus on your breathing, in breath and out breath, and watch your mind. Watch your mind, I mean, you watch at the state of mind right now. Right now is upsetting. Right now is talking about something, like someone says something to you, or you worry about something. So your mind keep thinking about that. So you in breath, you're aware of your in breath and out breath, and also aware there's a running thought, and then come back to your breathing again, in breath and out breath, and then watch it, and then go back and forth. Go back, I mean, you go back to your running thought. I mean, you acknowledge there's a running thought. But the in-breath and out-breath, it helps you to focus on the in-breath and out-breath, so you less think about the running thought. If you don't look at your running thought, you are ignoring it. And ignoring or deny it. You don't want to do any of that in Vipassana. We want to recognize it because it's part of your mind. You don't want to suppress, you don't want to ignore, you don't want to deny it. You are acknowledging it, okay? And then you go back to your in-breath and out-breath. Remember, in-breath and out-breath help you to concentrate. And then you keep watching it again. There's an upsetting mind, you look at it, and you concentrate on the in-breath. By concentrating on the in-breath and out-breath, help you to get off of this running thought, okay? That's called Citta Nupassana, called contemplating on the mind. Huh? Like that. So it goes for angry or craving or anything that occurring in your mind. So that's one way to deal with that department in your mind. And then again, and if it's so strong, you need to get busy. You need to do something more, add more to the act, add more to the package. But normally we often do that. And if you contemplate on the mind, if you are careful, you are mindful, you'll be able to detect the agitation in your mind to begin with. That will lead to upsetting or angry or defilement rises. Okay, so watch our mind at all time. Should not be any break at all. Whatever you do, always check what is the state of mind right now. And if you see someone talking that that you might be a little bit kind of not liking it, then you need to watch your mind more than in this person, because this one will trigger the mind for you to get upset. So if you keep talking, and your mind start having this agitation, that's it starts sprouting. Then you need to watch your mind. So when you recognize there's an agitation, then you should decide what you should do with it. You should, divert your mind, think positive, or, get you out of it, get you out of the situation. Like if this person kept talking and you think your mind start getting, boiling up, then either excuse yourself or change the topic or whatever it is to get you off of the topic. If it's happened to be someone you love and you sensitive to her for him or her feeling, then think positive. Like the wife, for example, there will be times he's nagging at you about something, right? So you just don't think about the nagging. Think about, oh, maybe she just tried to talk out. Maybe by then she feels better. And think positive. Whatever it is, find the positive part of it, and then you won't get the upsetting mind growing. But if you keep thinking, oh God, she keeps nagging, and she's not appreciating me. If you keep all the negative, things gonna get worse. But if you can get out of it or you can change the topic, then do that. But watch your mind at all time. That's called mind contemplation. So check your mind. Whatever you do, whether you're with someone or you alone, always check your mind. Don't ever think that you only get upset when someone is around. No. If there is a mind, there will be an upsetting mind. Whether you're with people or without people, anything in this world can actually upset you. Even the tree, the shade, the sun, blade, whatever it is, it could actually upset your mind. So watch it at all time and deal with it in a positive way. So, and I know that a lot of people have running thought a lot. That is something that we cannot deny, we cannot avoid, because that's part of your mind. That's the activity. And this running thought has a condition that trigger it. And what is the condition? Can be anything, like the nagging of the talking wife or talking husband. That's the condition that trigger your agitation. So if you cannot help with the outside, then look at the inside. Okay, so try that at all time. And the defilement is also another thing that you cannot avoid, but you can do something to prevent it. Like we talk about, the defilement need condition to trigger, because it's in your domain. It would be like a chronic disease. It doesn't have a cure yet. It has to cure when you attain arahantship. When you attain arahantship, no more defilement whatsoever arise. Until then, it will bubble up. It's the domain, it's the virus that doesn't go away. It stay there, lie dormant in there, and it needs something to trigger to wake up. So that's why we watch our mind. Okay, and defilement is come from greed, anger, and delusion. This is the three poison that condition it for it to rise. Right. So we watch it all the time. Could be the thing that we eat. We talk about it before we start our lesson. That food is like the enemy in disguise. Because we need food. Because we need food to survive. We need food to live on for our body. But then again, if you're not careful, this food could lead to, the bad craving. I mean, the craving that you need for food to sustain this body, and the craving for something that you like, that lead to defilement. Go ahead.
We got the gift with the red rice, right?
Right.
And I was thinking about that, and it really resonated with me as far as the gift that we got was actually wholesome, because red rice is good for cholesterol and heart health, right? So it's a wholesome gift. But, always before, like how I was raised and stuff, it's like, oh, you give someone a rich, decadent cake, because you're like, oh, here's this thing that you want to give someone, that's supposed to be the good gift. But that's actually the unwholesome gift, because it's bad for you. It's bad for the body. And it's like, so it made me really think about, perspective and contentment and how they go together, and how when we do receive a gift, we look at it, with that perspective, of health, and wellness, instead of, if you give, like, if I give you a cake, to me, I try to show you my love and my respect, but instead I'm giving you a defilement.
Unwholesome food.
It's unwholesome food, which causes defilements. So I'm having to really rethink.
Okay. It's good that you're looking in the past.
It's good that we have positive thinking. Yeah, but in this situation, it's not like that. In this situation, the Buddha received the very worst kind of food ever, because this kind of food is used for animal only at that time. The reason the Buddha could not get regular food is because that's during the famine time. People don't have anything to eat, so they eat whatever that's available to keep them alive. So they end up eating stable food, animal food, like something very harsh, very, let's say that if we could digest hay, we probably eat hay too. I'm talking about like that. Exactly. Oh, let's say dog food, for example, like food for Kobe, that we wouldn't eat that, but during the famine, we would eat it. Exactly. Because it won't kill us. It sustains the body. So the Buddha accepts it without any complaining, like, why am I'm the Buddha, why am I receiving such a horrible food like this? The Buddha was happy as regular, like he would receive regular food. It just shows his self-contentment. He never asked for more, asked for better, like that. So in your way, you're thinking red rice is good for your health. We eat red rice too, but the red rice is good quality, not the worst kind that human could actually eat. But a perfect example is like dog food. Like dog food, you would never eat dog food, right? But in the famine time, to stay alive, we could eat whatever that sustains this body, right? Yeah. So that is the case. But in your sense, sometimes out of love, out of respect, you cook something very good, but end up is unwholesome food. Unwholesome in the sense that not good for your health. So like that. And sometimes something is very not tasty, but it's wholesome, is good for your body. Right? I don't want to use the word wholesome because it's messed up with the, wholesome in the skillful way of doing things, right? But anyway, positive thinking is good. Positive energy, positive attitude, it helps out a lot. In the bad situation, if you think negative, too negative add up, make things worse, right? So you need to kind of divert it, dilute it, however it is, that to make the situation better. So one way to do it also was our mind at all time. The mind is the foreigner. It actually lead you to do a lot of bad thing or good thing. It depends on your right thinking at the moment. Yeah, go ahead.
Body, like sometimes the body is out of balance, like with bad bacteria, which makes you have a tendency for chronic food. But with the mind too, sometimes bad situations have happened to people, and you said she was thinking a lot about past intrusive thoughts. So would it be benefit her to maybe see a therapist to deal with those thoughts, to help her with her meditation? So maybe if she dealt with some of that stuff in therapy, and then she would be able to better meditate. You know what I mean? So it's treating the mind, because sometimes the mind can be broken too, like the body.
Right.
Therapists like psychiatrists or things like that, they tend to care more about the body. And then some of the psychological, scientifically thinking, but a lot of time, it's not like the Buddha teaching. The Buddha thing go beyond that. There's a big limitation for the psychologist, dealing with the mind, the condition, and all that. But there's also a limit. And a lot of time, a lot of doctor that I noticed, they tend to do for the money. So they try to talk to you and all that. So it depends on how. I don't want to look down on the therapist, the professional, but I don't know their way of explaining it is not the way that we know the true cause of it. You know, the true cause of it is greed, anger, and delusion in the mind, the wrong thinking, and all that. The psychologists, the therapists, they only study on the surface of how, and the next thing you know, they prescribe you something, and then you become addicted to it, and then you know, thing like that. The Buddha never prescribe you any kind of physical medicine, but he give you the remedy to deal with your mind. And with your mind, there's no medication. It's only the practice, how to watch it, and how to unconditional it, unconditional whatever that you've been conditional to, like. The food, for example, because we've been conditioned. Let's say, for example, you know, sometimes we don't want to waste food. We just say, oh, there's some leftover, and just go ahead and finish it up. I'm full already. But you know, just one more spoon, just finish up. That's one more spoon will increase your appetites. And then the next thing, you need one more spoon of it, even though you don't have enough food, because your appetite, the craving, right? You expand your stomach and keep doing it. And it becomes conditioned because of that one spoon, conditioned for your craving to be more. And then the next time, more. So what you need to practice is to uncondition it. You know, that's why you eat less and less and less to the point that you no longer be addicted to it. Yeah. And you learn already the reason you become alcoholic or some substance addiction because of the condition. And in Buddhism, you are not addicted to the substance. You addicted because of the feeling, right? So you need to undo it. You need to like control the craving. Eventually, you cure out of that substance. A lot of people think, oh, I'm addicted to alcohol. I'm addicted to cocaine. I'm addicted to marijuana. Actually, the feeling that you're addicted to it. So that's why meditation helps you to look at the feeling and then restrain it and uncondition it. Eventually, it lessen and lessen and lessen, and it die out, and your addiction is free. Okay, and that is on the bad side. But on the regular everyday, we also been conditioned a lot of things, right? Yeah. So that's why the Buddha taught, he taught us to look at it, to wash our mind, and then divert it and change it, uncondition it again. Yeah. Speaking of the one who been obese or overweight or overeating, the King Pasenadi during the Buddha time was a perfect example. For some of you who don't know, King Pasenadi, he's a very fat, he's obese. Because he's a king, he eat like king, right? He eat a lot of good food and he overconsume it, and he's very, very fat. And because he's very fat, it makes it difficult for him to move around. So one day, the Buddha gave him a way to contemplate on it, contemplate on the way he eats. And he listened to it, and he make it into a mantra or something to recite all the time when he eat it. So eventually, he cut back on his eating. He become more lean and more, he got more strength. And then that's how he went out to the battle, to the war, and he won, right? And when he won, he thought about the Buddha. He went directly to the Buddha, and he gave his deep respect to the Buddha, because not only the Buddha taught him the morality, the way of things, but also, to help him with his weight. Right? That's why he has so, all that confident in the Buddha. That's how this one turned out.
Yeah, the Buddha gave him a stanza to reminding about his eating, and he had one person to recite the stanza every time he about to finish his eating.
Yeah, and well, at least he listened to the Buddha and he make an effort. Otherwise, wouldn't make any difference. So. Anyway, this is the thing that we talk about the Buddha, but there's 9 qualities of the Buddha. I mean, like basically there's 9 to make it short, but that 9 quality also reflect on the thing about the Buddha. It's okay. Yeah. So a lot of people, sometimes they are afraid of the dark, afraid of many things. And And if they reflect on the qualities of the Buddha, it make them feel safe, feel happy, and feel inspired. Whenever you get lazy, you also reflect on the quality of the Buddha, how the Buddha did it, and you inspire yourself, and that's how you keep on going. If it make it difficult for you to understand, think of someone that you really inspire, and every time you think of that person, you become very happy, very inspired, or somebody that you think about it, you feel very safe. Let's say, for example, you have the perfect dad who protect you and guide you on the right path. So even though he already passed away, you often think of him, and every time you think of him, you feel very inspired, you feel very safe, like that. So reflecting on the quality of the Buddha is like that. And then further than that, people reflecting on the quality, they keep focus on one quality, and they keep focus on that. Like Arahant, for example, keep focus and also understand. They keep doing it. Eventually, they develop samadhi called the mind concentration. When they have the samadhi, they can enter jhana. When they enter the jhana, the mind is very calm, very at ease, tranquil. And when your mind is calm and tranquil or concentrated, when you get out of it, you reflect on the three characteristics of all things of the world, like anicca, impermanent, dukkha, dissatisfaction, anatta, non-self. You will eventually see the true nature, and that's how you get enlightened. You become you enter the stream of, and you become a stream enterer, or the first the noblehood. Free, you're not free yet, but lessen on your greed, anger, and illusion, and your life quality is so much better. So that's called reflecting on the Buddha qualities. But you have to, before you do that, you have to understand thoroughly about the Buddha, the quality, before you practice. And that's why a lot of people ask me, wait a minute, reflecting the quality of the Buddha also help you to practice vipassana or insight meditation. I say, true. It's true. It's true. A lot of people does that. A lot of people do that. But do you know how to do it? You have to do it correctly. But if not, you don't want to mix between the two, and you call yourself, oh, I'm reflecting on the Buddha quality. But all you do is just calling out the name, the label only, right? Like before I know, I could actually get my concentration by calling Jordan all the time. But I don't know who you are or what you are, because of the focus on just only the name, Jordan all the time, and everything else will be blocked out. And eventually I do have some concentration too, the same way. So you're reflecting on Arahant, but you don't know what Arahant is. But you do have some level of concentration. Yeah? So like that. So rather than reflecting on that, you reflecting on, the thing that you do, that's be more useful. That's how because when you do something, when you focus on it, you eventually have enough information, you will see the true nature of it, like the impermanence or the dissatisfaction from the thing that you do. During the Buddha time, many people got enlightened by reflecting on the impermanence, not through meditation, not through the samatha. Yes.
Such a Buddha, it's like what we were talking about before when we were talking about like with the contentment. Mm-hmm. You're sitting there and you're thinking about, what contentment means and how the Buddha approached contentment. So that's what you mean by reflecting on it?
No. First of all, you understand about the Buddha, right? So whenever you think about the Buddha, you will know the Buddha has all of this kind of thing. So let's say that you are the one who very needy, then when you're reflecting on the contentment about the Buddha, you become more inspired, and then you become less needy. Like, if the Buddha can do it, I can do it too, So it's because the Buddha less contentment that leads him to be less defilement, to be, less support, easier to support and things like that. So the more, like for us monks, we practice to be self-contentment like the Buddha. So because of that, it's less burden on the supporter. So think about it, if I'm a monk and people want to support the monk because
of they get punya and also help the monk to continue on the path, and he can deliver the teaching the Buddha and help other people alive and their life. So that's why they want to support the monk. But if the monk doesn't have self-containment, imagine that you would be very, it's very a burden for you. You go crazy if I ask too much. Maybe a little less here, a little bit more there. Can I have more? Can I have it? You probably got, blown out. Go ahead.
What we were talking about, but what helps me, especially like, when I feel the condition of like the defilement creeping up, I remember the lesson on, it was a brief instruction that the Buddha gave. Yeah. And so what I tell myself to remind me is a mountain is just a mountain, not to have, a reaction to it. And so whenever I feel upset or unhappy about something, I remember, I just tell myself a mountain is just a mountain, and I realize that, there's no point in having a reaction to these things. They're just things that are happening. So that helps me sometimes.
Usually
the time we borrow things out of proportion by something, more than it is. So actually it's all in our mind, the making of our mind. So if you truly understand it, then first of all, whatever it is, take it easy. Don't get overreact, about it and things like that. Okay. So go back to your thing. The self-containment is something that help you to inspire, because of self-containment lead to a lot of good qualities. And because of that, you inspire, and that's how you follow, right?
The Buddha's manners, or the nine aspects of the Buddha. So I was just wondering, as far as the processes of, like, say I want to reflect on the nine things of the Buddha, is that the way you go about it?
Okay.
Is that if you focus on each one and then you think about it?
Okay, you usually reflect on the quality of Buddha. Among the nine qualities, you pick one. Like Buddha.
Oh, okay.
Buddha. Okay, Buddha. Because if you recite Ikipisho Bhagava Arahan Samma Sambuddho, Sambuddho is one of the quality. Then when you reflect on Buddha, what do you know about the Buddha? Buddha, right? Let's say Buddha, okay? So when you reflect Buddha, when you meditate, when you reflecting, you focus on the quality of the Buddha, for example, right? When you reflecting Buddha, what do you know about the Buddha? The Buddha is self-content. He's the teacher of human and heaven being. He's the one with perfect quality, perfect immorality. He's the one who, he's worthy of referencing. He's worthy of giving, worthy of respect. He can do, the psychic power, all of these things. When you have Buddha in your head, all of these things that you understood. Why the word of Buddha? Buddha. Why the word of Buddha? Because Buddha is the conjugation of Buddha. So Buddha, when you recite the Buddha, all of these things rising in your mind and make you feel very deep and very inspired. Think of someone. Okay, let's say that how much you know about Albert Einstein, the scientist. You know a lot about him, right? He contributes a lot in our today science. When I practice engineering, the formula that I use to get my work done is from him. So by the word Albert Einstein, all of these things rising in my mind, I'm so inspired. Or who else in your life that you so inspired, so look up to? When you call his name, or when you think of him, or call just only name, all of that thing rising in your mind because you know so much about him. That's why you're inspired. That's how you a lot of people become a doctor because of something when they were young about a doctor that they know, You know, that's what that drive him to become a doctor. You know, when they face a lot of
like that. So think of it like that. Make it easier for you to understand. So what is it? Albert Einstein. If I don't know anything, Albert Einstein, then I could actually get some focus. But it would be more if I know so much about him. So you know what I mean? Like E equals MC squared. You don't sit here and say E equals MC squared, E equals MC squared. You don't do that. But E equals MC squared lead to a lot of invention, a lot of work done. You got me so far? So when you reflect on Buddha, actually Buddha is the one that people reflect. Buddha, Arahant, right? Arahant is like someone who already uproot greed, anger, and delusion, the perfect one. Then when you call Arahant, so much more know about Arahant, and that gives you a lot of inspiration. So whenever I have a lot of defilement because of anger, let's say anger, I reflect Arahant. Arahant is the one who practiced a lot. Eventually, he uproot anger, the anger one. So I reflect Arahant. Because uprooting the anger is my focus. You got me so far? You got it? So when you reflect Arahant, because you want to uproot the anger, root the anger in you. And that's it. Because Arahant is the result of this. That's it. Make any sense? I feel chill when I say Arahant too, because I have a lot of defilement as well. Okay? So I think we have over the time. So we need